Hi, welcome to Farnet Pi videos. This is DC here. In this video I'm going to show you how to personalize the Atmel AT88SC153 secure memory card. So it's all about blowing the fuse. These are some of the highlights of this video. We are going to see how to blow the card manufacturer fuse. We do this only after we set the card manufacturer code in the fabrication zone and also after we set the issuer code. So whether you set the values of CMC or issuer code, it all depends on the application. But this is the common practice is we'll set the CMC and blow the fuse. Now once the card manufacturer fuse is blown, we cannot modify this any further. After that, this is the last fuse, that's called the personalization fuse. So we do this after we give a unique ID for the card and we set the cryptogram and the seed. We have seen in my previous video these two are used for the authentication. However, I could not demonstrate the authentication because the authentication is done based on a proprietary algorithm which is not available to the public domain. You have to use a authentication or crypto authentication hardware that is available from the manufacturer. Probably in the future videos I might try how to use the crypto authentication card. And you have to give the password. Now we know there are 4 passwords, 2 for write and 2 for read. You set those passwords and you also decide how the user zone is accessible, whether you want user zone to be open, so where you can read and write without any pass verification, or whether you want to protect the user zone with authentic verification or authentication, etc. So we have seen all these data items in my previous videos. So you have to know what these data items are, because once you blow the personalization fuse, some of this cannot be modified, or some, most of them you can modify probably with the proper pass verification. Again, what is modifiable and what is not modifiable, you have to refer the documentation. And once we blow the manufacturer fuse and the personalization fuse, we are going to operate this card. So the card will have all the 3 fuses blown. So far in my previous videos, we have been using the card with the fab fuse blown. So we have been seeing how this entire column worked. Once you blow the manufacturer fuse, you have to refer this column here. So this column tells you what you cannot do, and if you want to modify, what kind of pass verification you have to do. Say for example, there's no much difference between this and this if you compare. So except probably now looks like in the more or less they're pretty much identical. So, and once you blow the personalization fuse, and this is how the card operates. Say for example, you cannot write to any access register. Look at that, it's completely forbidden. You cannot change the access rights. And also if you go down, you cannot do anything with the identification. So here it says it's forbidden. You cannot write, but most sections are readable except the password. So you cannot change the ID of the card, you cannot change the access rights. After that, you cannot read and write the secret seed. And also if you look at here, you cannot read the password. Obviously password is readable only after certain pass verification, but here what it says is you can read only with authenticating the right password. So, and here also you can see that you can change the the pack, the number of times the verification can go wrong, but that needs verifying with the right password. And finally, now the user zone works the way it was set. So you have to understand the last column, more or less this is same as that, the last column, and we are going to, once we blow the fuse, we are going to see how this last column operates as well. So one more thing to keep in mind is, in order to blow the fuse, the data must be in this fixed format. So in order to blow the CMA, you cannot do anything with FAB. You have to send a byte data with the last 3 bits NNN equals to 010. And if you want to blow the personalization fuse, the last 3 bits must be 100. So you cannot have any other values that doesn't blow the fuse. So probably this background, we're going to say how to blow the fuse now. As you can see, I've got my ACR38U connected, and you can blow the fuse with the ACR38U. If you remember my videos on the 102 Atmel tags, the same device was not able to blow the fuse. I have to use the ACR1281U, a different device. But I've seen the fuse blowing works in this reader writer. So I'm going to go to the fabrication zone, and I'm going to put the manufacturer code. It's called CMC here. So you cannot just go and modify. If you try to do that and see you can't do it, you have to first verify with the secure code, which in my case is 454545. And once we did that, I'm going to go to fabrication zone and set this to any number 0101. If you try to read, and we are able to write. So now comes the blowing the fuse. So because in order to blow the fuse, the data has to be in certain pattern, I have provided a button here rather than playing with the setting boxes. If you try to read, so we know that the fab is already blown, so I'm going to click this blow CMA. Now you got a response 90. If you try to read, you can see that the CMA fuse is blown. Now from this point onwards, so the card works at the CMA state, the second column in the table. I'm going to verify if the blown is successful by trying to modify the CMC code. Set to 2020, write, try to read. Now, so this proves that the fuse is blown. Now I'm going to restart the tag. So I have just reinserted the tag. I'm going to connect again. So we have got the 2 fuse blown. Now we are going to prepare this tag for the final personalization. So we have to do a lot of things here. Most of them these are done by the software. First thing is I'm going to change the password. So I'm going to still keep 4545 as my. I'm going to verify. I'm going to modify. If you read it, these passwords are still FFFs. So I'm going to change this as something I remember. So set this as 1111, right, and set this as 222222, right, and this I'm going to set as 333333, right. So we're done with this. Change the password. The identification, I'm going to put my issuer code. So I can put anything, put A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7. Going to write, and identification number. So if you are using this this type of cards in the software, probably you'll end up generating a random number. So this number can be used to identify this card. Probably can use this identification number as a primary key into your database system, or you can use this to generate the the secret codes, which is called as a keyword derivation. Okay, I'm going to use 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07. I'm going to write, and cryptogram I would go with the same 01, 02. So keep in mind the cryptogram is used in the authentication algorithm, which we don't know, right? And the secret code, the default value is all FFs. Probably I can set this as A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7, A8, sorry, A7, right? So you have to make if you're playing with this type of cards, you better make a note of all these numbers. So in future, if you learn how to generate the host challenges, probably you can, you might need that number in order to generate the host challenge. And if you go to the access rights, so I'm going to set all these three zones to have both read and write pass verification. I'm also going to keep all these things as zeros here, and write. So the last thing we are going to do now is the fuse. So you can't, sorry. So hit this button, blow PR, and write. If you try to read, you can see that all the three fuses are blown. So from this point on, the card will work in a complete different way. It's a restricted way, and we're going to see that.